Thank you very much, Pawan. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the Toastmasters who have joined to celebrate the International Women's Day. And the meeting theme is Thriving Women as Inner Leadership. So today we have an important theme. Important themes. Despite the undeniable progress that has been made over decades of activism, women are yet to fully occupy a sizable proportion in the leadership space. Globally, women leadership presents only 31% of total leadership. As of 2022, only 8.2% of Fortune 500 CEOs, that means we have only 41 CEOs were women. However, research showed that women leaders have a key measurable impact on an organization bottom line. In research, it is also found that the earnings of organization increase with the presence of women leaders. They provide a different set of skills and perspectives and bring cultural changes to derive effective solutions. Yet, many barriers to women in leadership remain, including the following obstacles: stereotypes, discrimination, lack of networking opportunities, no work-life balance. When we take the stereotype, most industries have been dominated by male leadership for so long that the traits of a good leader are often seen as masculine. I am an engineer. It's a dominated field, but I was able to go to the top of the organization. Work environments dominated by biases favoring men can be hostile toward women in terms of promotions, sexual harassment, workplace harassment, and other unprofessional behavior. When we talk about lack of networking opportunities, while bias is becoming less prevalent in the digitally connected world, it is important. Its impact can still pose challenges for women looking to network. As a result, there may be fewer opportunities for mentorship or arrangements to help women move into leadership positions. Old ideas about the domestic roles of men and women can limit the support women may need to balance work and everything else properly. As a result, some people may unfairly believe women cannot put in the time and effort required to lead. So women can tackle those challenges head-on, focusing on three recurring themes: confidence, growth mindset, and networking. As per the 2021 statistics published by Toastmasters International, more than 55% of Toastmasters International, means among 364,000 plus members, are females who join Toastmasters to become more confident and competent communicators. Leadership Peak Toastmasters Club is an advanced club focused on leadership development. Women comprises of 56% of total membership and hold 67% share in the executive committee of the club. So don't you think in the leadership peak, women thrive as a woman in the leadership peak? This is an opportunity for us today to hear more women speakers in the club meeting. Today, we have a leader from District 82 to do the toast. She is a distinguished Toastmaster. Krishanti Emmanuel has been a Toastmaster since 2001. She is a past president of Colombo Toastmasters, which is the first Toastmasters club in South Asia, and also a charter president of the first Advanced Toastmasters Club in District 82, Pinnacle Advanced Toastmasters Club. When the Toastmasters District 82 was first set up in Sri Lanka in India, that means in 2006 and 2007, Krishanti was one of the area governor, the first batch, one of the first batch of area governor of the district. She has served in various roles in area, division, and district, and she was the district contest judge, she was the chief judge, and she was a trainer, and she really took several roles in the district. By profession, Krishanti is a chartered governance professional, a fellow member of both the UK and Sri Lanka Association. During the course of her career, she worked at two blue chip diversified conglomerates, Aitken Spence and Company PLC, and then LOLC PLC, where she was group company secretary. She stepped down as director LOLC Corporate Services in 2018. Please put your hands together to welcome DTM Krishanti Emmanuel to do the toast. Over to you, Krishanti.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. March 8th is commemorated worldwide as International Women's Day. It was triggered by a National Women's Day in the United States of America in 1909. The idea took hold in Europe in 1911, followed by Russia in 1913 and China in 1922. But it was in 1977 that the United Nations invited all member countries to declare March 8th as International Women's Day. There was a time when girl children were not given education. But now we have women at the helm of educational institutes, including Oxford, Brown, Cornell, MIT, and the London School of Economics and Political Science. There was a time when girls were expected to only play with dolls. But now we have women cricket teams, women football teams, and even women wrestlers. The first Sri Lankan to summit Mount Everest is a woman. There was a time when women were only expected to cook and clean house, but now we have women policemen and soldiers, women firefighters, and women astronauts. There was a time when women could not vote, but now we have women heads of state and heads of government. My own country, Sri Lanka, had the world's first female prime minister back in 1960. But let's not look only at these. Women have also broadened and deepened the traditional roles of wife and mother. It is said, if you educate a boy, you educate an individual. But if you educate a girl, you educate a nation. Mothers are in the forefront of teaching both boys and girls that they don't need to be bound by stereotypes. As much as girls can race cars, boys should not be ashamed to love cooking. Sadly, it is still true that women get paid less than their male counterparts. Domestic violence against women is not taken as seriously as it should be. And, as some women say, we have to work twice as hard to be taken half as seriously as men. But women have made great strides over the years, and there is now no turning back. Susan Anthony, an American women's rights activist from the late 19th and early 20th century, put it this way: the true republic, men, their rights and nothing more, women, their rights and nothing less. Today, we salute those women who have broken ground and blazed trails in all areas of society. We salute those women who have embraced the role of wife and mother because they find it fulfilling and satisfying. And we celebrate those women who head for what they want so determinedly that barriers tumble before them and glass ceilings are shattered. So, please unmute yourselves, raise your glasses with me, and join me in a toast to women. May they continue to change the world. To women.
To women.
To women.
Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Krishanti, for the toast that you have done for women. Today, we have an important role player to manage the meeting. The timer for today is Toastmaster Johnny Rennie, has been Toastmaster since 2019. She believes in the philosophies, work smarter, not harder, and the learn by doing. Toastmasters embodies a digital nomad. She has taken advantage of the new normal to network and learn from Toastmasters around the world, and has become a go-to for hybrid and Zoom meeting queries. Her distinguished Toastmaster project, Logical Logistics Tech 40M, provided a practical guide to the digital landscape. She is currently working on her second DTM, introducing the use of artificial intelligence to enhance the Toastmasters journey using UD. Her passion for digital space has led her to submit a new path suggestion to Toastmasters International, which incorporates online logistics and provides blueprint her journey to becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. Yes, Toastmaster Johnny, can you please explain your role?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. One of the least valued and the least prioritized and cared for role of a woman is being a kinkeeper. As such, as the timer, I will reflect the same by keeping everyone on time and ensuring everyone is doing what they need to do so that us as a group and as a team can function. Kinkeeping. I will be doing that by utilizing my virtual background. For our first feature, 15 to 20 minutes, the green card will be displayed at 15, the yellow at 19, and the red at 20 minutes. For our prepared speeches, our speeches will be timed green at 5 minutes, yellow 6 minutes, red 7 minutes, and we all know we get an extra 30 seconds. So if you get there, I will be demonstrating that you have hit all of your time. Because we are doing a quick session today, I will be placing my results in the chat and reminding our evaluators that the time is not standard. Today, our evaluations will be timed at green 1 minute, yellow 1:30, and red at 2 minutes. I may not be coming back to the virtual space to present my times, but you'll definitely find them in the chat, and I'll be behind the scenes ensuring that the kin gets kept. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Johnny. Yes, next we are going to listen to an educational presentation by another dynamic leader of Leaders Speak. Yes, she is a past district director of District 74 in 2018-19. And she says, I am a mother, a daughter, and a spouse. And she is the managing director of a coffee roastery and proud Leadership Speak member. And she is going to speak on why can't the boys play with dolls and girls with cars. Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Rozy, over to you.
Thank you very, very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Fellow Toastmasters, on our beautiful planet Earth, which we fondly refer to as Mother Earth, International Women's Day should perhaps be one of the most important days. This day allows us women to take stock of our accomplishments through a history which, as we have heard earlier, has been filled with oppression, suppression, discrimination, humiliation, and often even physical abuse. But that said, we have vastly improved circumstances today. Today, several women are thriving in the workplace, in politics, and in many environments. But largely, we do have, no doubt, less than required, but we do have women in leadership positions, women who are thriving. And we owe this to sacrifices by people before us, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, a lot of other women. But as women, let us not forget to display our traditional feminine generosity to many men who have supported us. They have been, whether it's our fathers, our brothers, our sons, our colleagues, they have helped us stand shoulder to shoulder with them during our struggles. So at the outset, I would like us to propose a symbolic toast to these men who have supported us, who have propelled our growth, who have fueled the wind beneath us, beneath our wings, and therefore we are where we are today. So men, thank you and cheers to you, because were it not for your support, we would still be fighting this battle. So I want to begin by sharing with us some of the heroes and some of the trailblazers. So you will see in front of you, and we don't have too much time, so I've just picked some random ones. And in the chat, just whoever you recognize, I'd like to start with the men you see there. In the chat, if you recognize any of them, just put the name down on the chat. Trudeau, Sudarshan, thank you very much. And while we're waiting for others, maybe you can come on audio, since Sudarshan was the first one, and tell me why you think Trudeau is on that list. Sudarshan, oh, thank you. And you've also got Aga Khan, but I saw Brahm beat you with the Imam. So I am inviting you to come on audio, Sudarshan.
Yeah, what's the question? I think I missed.
So do you know what Trudeau has done to be on this as one of the ones who has been a hero, who has propelled women's growth?
No, I don't think I'll be able to answer that. I'm not sure.
Perfect.
What has he done specifically for women?
Thank you very much. So Justin Trudeau is one young progressive leader, a prime minister currently. And the reason he's here, and I try to bring a variety, is when he came to power in 2015, controversial as it was, and I'm not saying it's right, nor am I saying it's wrong, but he insisted that his ministers, his cabinet would be slim, and there would be 50-50, 15 men, 15 women. And within the men, he brought in minorities, people with problems, people with different races, but he had 15 women. A lot of people thought it wasn't right, but it was a start for numbers. Brahm, could you come on audio? And maybe it might be a difficult one, but this Imam, the Aga Khan, any idea why he is there?
The Imam Khan is the head of the Ismaili community worldwide. And he certainly has brought your community. Rozy, you are from that community. I'm not, but being from Kenya, you know all communities. I'm from Kenya. So I think he's done a lot for the women in the Ismaili community, for the women. And I believe, from what I've seen, it's only my experience, not having read or researched. From my experience, I find that the Ismaili women are very progressive. That they've gone out more out into the world than the other women from the community from East Africa. That's where I'm going to focus on, because that's only from the experience from many years ago. It could be different now. But from what I've seen from that time and so on, is that it's been more progressive, your community, and the women, like you as well, Rozy. I mean, you are the managing director of a big company in Kenya, and I should really mention that, and you should have been mentioned in your introduction. And the reason why I admire you as well is who you are, and you belong to that community where Imam is the head. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Brahm. And indeed, you're very, very knowledgeable. A progressive leader, but one thing he said in the olden days, and remember, this is a Muslim leader, what he said is, if you have a son and a daughter, but you only have enough money to educate one, pick the daughter. And a lot of Muslim men had a problem initially with that, but that has really propelled the growth of women in the community. So Bram's right, he has promoted and propelled the growth of women leaders. I don't see anyone who got the third gentleman there, but most people may know him by who is interrupted.
David Schwimmer.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he's better known for Friends, I think, right?
That's right.
Again, yes, you're right. Sudarshan, you're obviously very spot on. I saw you even got some of the ladies there. So let me tell you all about Ross Geller, as he was better known in Friends. So what he did is a bit like if you've watched Crime Patrol or CSI, you have real life stories. And he had heard of the stories which were horrifying of women going through sexual harassment. And this was in 2015. And he decided to put together a set of theories which was called That's Harassment. He did this to help women come out and not have that stigma and come out and speak about sexual harassment. I know after that, it probably blew over and no one expected, but almost 6 months later, the world was a mess and you had the Me Too movement and you had a lot more. Now, there may be false accusations, there may be true ones, but what it did is it opened up women to speak about it. Now to our lady trailblazers. The one on the left, a lot of people have already alluded to or referred to or spoken about. Who is that? The one in pink, just a name. And again, Sudarshan, my good Lord, you got it. So this is the first prime minister in the world. And we heard that from Noorul and we heard that from our today's toast. So this is Siri Mavo. In fact, I have had to write it down because I want to make sure I get it right, because a person's name is very important. Siriman Bandasanaike. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, but first woman prime minister in the world. The next one, ladies and gentlemen, is the first Toastmasters president, Helen Blanchard. But Sudarshan, again, you have heard it and you're getting there, just the name. And she was the first Toastmasters international president as a woman. Next to her is Chimamanda Ngozi. Chimamanda, I bring her because in Nigeria, in a small village, she was the first lady to be crowned a chief. And that's a big deal. And just for the records, that only happened in December 2022. So until then, it's only been men thriving in the chief place. And then in the middle, I have our Wangari Maathai. And I've put Wangari Maathai, who's a Kenyan and a Nobel Peace Prize award winner. The reason I have put her is because many years ago, she spoke for the environment. Many people know her for being a political activist, but I think it's very important. She saw the value of preserving the environment well before it became such an issue today. Again, a woman. And these are the women, they've been role models, they've been trailblazers. There are so many. So these may not be everybody's models, but they've helped women thrive today. And I feel we've got a lot to learn from them and from what they've said. But despite this, we've made many gains, but it is important to note that a lot of these gains are in urban areas. Within the rural settings, we still have a very, very long way to go. And I'm sharing here a headline, which was less than a month ago, February 20th. In Kenya, BBC did an expose of farms owned by James Finlay, very important names, and Unilever. They found that more than 70 women who work on these farms had been subjected to sexual harassment or had been told they must offer themselves or give sexual favors if they wanted to continue working in the farms. It's a very sad situation, and I bring it to show it's very much rampant and alive. This was February 20th, 2023. Action is still being taken, investigation is still ongoing. Big global firms like Tesco, Starbucks, who have been buying tea from these companies, have said they will stop until the investigation has been completed and action has been taken. Obviously, James Finlay and Unilever are taking action. They've fired some of the people because names have been mentioned, but it shows this is 2023 and it's happening. But ladies and gentlemen, I still don't want to ignore the gains we have made. We have made many gains. It is just to say that things still can be done. We still have a long way to go. Today, we are in 2023, and the theme, interestingly, is embrace equity. And that's the symbol, embrace equity. That's how they show it, because we embrace. Equality was a big conversation in the past. And what's the difference? To a large degree, equality has been a lot about numbers. Do we want people to have equal numbers? We have heard Parliament say a third rule or a fifth rule or a fourth rule to make sure that women come into Parliament or women are able to get opportunities. But equity understands, or equity means that we have different circumstances. A simple example I got on the web and has been cited is, it's one thing to give everybody shoes, but if I gave all of you shoes of size 5, for some of you, if they will fit, and for some of you, you won't know what to do with them because your legs will barely fit in them. So we need to adapt our circumstances to make sure that if there are different unique circumstances, we give resources that will allow that individual the opportunity to do what he or she must do. And so embracing equity. And why is this important? But even before I go to why is this important, let's look at studies that have been done that show gender parity in different countries across the world and why this became an issue. So there in front of you, it seems that since 2006, the World Economic Forum has got different global organizations taking studies, and there have been 146 countries that they've looked at, and they've looked at where they are in terms of gender parity. And interestingly, there are countries that are doing really, really, really well. In the top 10, countries like Iceland and Finland and Norway are pretty much close to full parity. Now you may be wondering, what do I mean by parity? So in this study, they used four different elements to measure this parity. They looked at things like education. They looked at economic opportunities. They looked at political participation. And they also looked at health and survival, because these are basic things that are needed to show whether there's parity. And New Zealand is not surprising. I think some countries surprise me. There's one from Africa, Rwanda. There's another one from Africa. And Hannah, I don't know if you are happy or surprised, whether you agree or disagree, but Namibia comes in the top 10. I had to search a bit more to say, is this true? Because there were some things I was doubting. But clearly, it does seem that wages are way ahead in these places. Well, Rwanda is a tiny country, so maybe it's easier to have parity. You have a population that's barely 10 million. It's a tiny country, but Namibia, impressive, and you should kudos to these countries. Now, some of our members, and I just did a quick check and look because I know there'll be interest, because Canada didn't fall in the top 10. So Canada is around 25, India 135. My Kenya is 57, not too bad. The lower ones are countries like Afghanistan and Algeria. So as we continue, we can see where the regions are. You can see North America and Europe are higher, and we have way to go when it comes to the rest of the continents. Now, why is it, why do we want equity? And there are little things. Women are in leadership positions, but they're not getting the same pay for the same work. Or even when you are promoted, women are generally promoted when they've demonstrated experience, while men, it's when while potential has been seen in them. But more importantly, I'm looking at certain social elements because we'll have a better society for men and women if we embrace equity. There is a stigma when women earn more than men in a household. It's very hard for a woman to admit to being a bread earner, myself included. I'm saying it today in a public forum, but honestly, men have been ridiculed. People look down on the men, and it's not fair because they're doing other things. They may be looking after the house, things women may not have managed or would have not propelled in their career had it not been for that. This has become such a big issue that men have also been told, you don't cry, you don't express emotion. And as a result, men have withheld. Now, according to the World Health Organization, from every 100,000 deaths across the world, plus or minus, you have 2025 being death by suicide. And men are about 4 times as likely to commit suicide. And why is that? It's because they find it hard to cry. They're not supposed to be emotional. That's what society has put in us. They're not supposed to express how they feel. So what happens? They have a higher likelihood to get into substance abuse, into alcohol. They're more likely to commit suicide. As a matter of fact, interestingly, women tend to invite and have more thoughts of committing suicide, but they don't commit suicide as often as men. Men actually do it. And all of this, if this stigma was taken away, can you imagine what a better society we would have? How much better we would be? So this is why I want us today, as leadership speak members, we are self-directed leaders. How can we refocus our lens? Can we get rid of these prejudices, these stereotypes, or what we call vox populi? Vox populi is a Latin term which means voice of the majority, because what is popular is not always correct, and what is correct is not always what is popular. So it is important to view the world through a lens that gives a very true, a correct perspective. Let's get away with silly things. Some studies have shown that 60% of MDs and CEOs are taller than the average person. Now, that's neither male nor female, but surely because I'm short, you can't become a CEO? Or earlier, Noorul said 8.2. So between 8 to 10% of CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are women. We need more. We need some diversity. We need some equity there. So that's numbers. A lot of us have this inner critic that bothers us. We keep thinking, and this is to us women especially, but all of us have an inner critic. Kill that voice. Call that voice a name. Bring him out and say, no, that's not correct. You're not telling me the truth. I'm going to change, and I'm not going to accept that. So call him that horrible. Think of it like this. If you were talking to somebody else, you would be encouraging the person. Yet to yourself, you tend to put yourself down. So women, kill that inner critic. Men, inner and outer. And let's kill those archaic feelings and thoughts. So all in all, if we want a culture where we will all thrive, dispose of that archaic thinking. reject discrimination, and eliminate these unconscious biases. Let's disrupt these illogical assumptions. Let's be the catalysts of change. Let's advocate for equity. Let's advocate and be the champions. If we have a growth mindset in that respect, the culture will be transformed and we will have a much, much more equitable and better society. And finally, in closing, remember the men call us the better halves. So despite everything I have said, I leave you with, yes, we are the better gender. Thank you. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Rozy Rana. What a thought-provoking information you gave us to think about it twice at the end. Thank you very much. Now, we are going to listen to two leaders, international leaders. So they are not going to be in presence, but we will be having the recording of their speeches. So who is going to be the first speaker? Yes, she is a golden leader. She's a golden leader who always gives golden tips to Toastmasters growth. Now we will listen to the past international president, Lark Dolly. Bram, over to you to share the speech.
Golden greetings, Leadership Speak. As you celebrate International Women's Day during your meeting, I wish I could be there in person, but I am honored to be with you via this recording. I am grateful for the progress toward gender equality during my lifetime, but I want this to continue to every country in our world. And I want that progress to be that gender equality is commonplace, not unique. That each of us is able to realize our dreams and our professions and our communities and in our personal lives without the fear of discrimination due to our gender. Toastmasters International will celebrate 99 years in October of this year. Only 50 years ago, in 1973, Toastmasters voted to allow women to join. Women have progressed throughout our organization during the last 50 years. Women now comprise over 50% of our membership. Women fulfill leadership roles at every level of our organization: club, area, division, district, region, and international. And this year, for the first time in our history, women occupy 3 of the 5 executive committee positions: President-elect, First Vice President, and Second Vice President. In the first 98 years of our history, only 6 female presidents were elected. But if the current leadership progression continues, we will have 3 back-to-back female presidents from August 2023 to August 2026. Leadership Speak. Let's celebrate International Women's Day all year long by dedicating ourselves to ensuring that Toastmasters International is the model for gender equality. It has been golden being with you, Leadership Speak.
Thank you, Lark Dolly. Although you are not here, what a wonderful message we had. Yes, we are going to listen to the second speech, who is not in presence, but we are going to listen to her recording too. This leader is an extraordinary leader wherever she represented, and especially in her business. We all know her. Yes, now we will listen to Margaret Page. Bram?
Hello, Leadership Speak. I'm Margaret Page, recording this in Delta, British Columbia. Thank you so much for extending an invitation for me to spend some time with you on International Women's Day. I am absolutely honored that I could spend this time with you and send a message encouraging you and supporting you in what you are doing with your self-directed leadership. Years ago, when I first got involved with supporting women in politics and trying to create some change in there, it was 2003. And at that time, we were always speaking about creating equality, helping make things equal so that as many men were in politics, as many women attempting to create parity. And that was the conversation more than a decade ago. And today it has very much changed. Today we know and understand a little bit more that being equal or creating equal opportunity is not always the best solution. And I love the story about 3 people lined up in front of a fence. It's a 5.5-foot fence. We have a 6-foot person, 5.5-foot person, and a 5-foot person. And they're all looking over at the fence at this amazing event that's going down below. It could be a sporting event, whatever. They're wanting to take advantage of the opportunity to enjoy what's going on the other side of the fence. The fence is 5.5 foot tall. The 6-foot person easily can partake and enjoy what's going on the other side. The 5.5-foot person, well, they can't see. The fence comes to the top of their head and their eyes can't see over the fence. And of course, the 5-foot person cannot see over the 5.5-foot fence either. Well, if we create equal change for them or give them something equally, give them each a 6-inch box to stand on. Well, the 6-foot person is now 6.5 feet and they can easily see over the fence. The 5.5-foot person is now 6 feet tall and can easily see over the fence. But the 5-foot person is only brought up to 5.5 feet and they still can't see over the fence. So sometimes creating equal opportunities isn't adequate. Sometimes we need to create equity so that we're all coming from the same place. And that's what this year's International Women's Day is all about, is embracing equity. Now, I know that your club is all about self-directed leaders. And so whether it's out in your organizations, your small businesses, your churches, your communities, or your families, I know you're beginning to have that conversation, or you've been having the conversation already on what we can do to create some equity, or what are some of the things that we can do to make a difference. Any kind of change always begins with the first step of awareness. And we have some awareness. And so now the conversation and taking action, and I'm sure in your club that you'll be sharing and discussing what kind of actions you could all take to make a difference and to embrace equity, which is, of course, this year's theme for International Women's Day. I wish I could be with you perhaps next year. And wouldn't it be grand if we were all in the same room together and not just embracing equity from afar, but embracing each other as well. I wish you the very best. Continue to support each other. You're an amazing club already at President's Distinguished, or you will be once the dashboard rolls over. 33 members, doing well, doing outstanding. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you at another event soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Margaret Page, for talking about equality and equity and for giving us a wonderful message. Yes, we are going to have the prepared speech session today. And before we begin the prepared speech, I want to introduce another role player for today is the general evaluator. So the general evaluator for today is Chandra Walks. Sandra walks with a compassionate.
Madam Toastmaster, we don't introduce Sandra right now. You introduce the speakers, and Sandra is to be introduced after the break.
Thank you, Brad. Yes,
Thank you.
We will. We have listed out 6 speakers today, and we will be having 6 speeches. And the first speaker for today is Toastmaster Manjy Manohar. She is an award-winning area director. We also know that she is a coach and author coach. She's a TEDx coach, and also she is the founder of Win with Manjy Holistic Success Coaching. So her evaluator is Toastmaster Barbara Jarvis. So I would like to invite Barbara to read the objective of Manjy's project.
Good morning, leaders. Manjy's presentation, he's going to be speaking about presentation from a mastery number 3 to 5, connect with storytelling. We'll be presenting an established story, a story about speakers, life, or fictional table of the speakers of her own creation. She will do it within 5, 6 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, Barbara. So, Toastmaster Manjy Manohar, the price of no. The price of no, Manjy Manohar.
Have you ever fallen in love? Have you ever fallen in love with a person whom you have never met or even spoken to, or heard the voice of, or even read a word written by them? Well, now you might be thinking I'm a crazy. Well, like most mothers, I fell in love with my baby when he was in the womb itself. Motherhood changed me, softened me, made me a kinder and patient person. But at work, I remained highly committed, hardworking, and dedicated as possible. My child and my career, they were like my 2 eyes. Can you choose between your right eye and left eye? You can type in the chat window if you're able to do that. I could not do that. I even worked long hours because we were doing a development project for a leading financial giant of this world. I used to spend all my free time with my baby, reading to him, and even singing even before he was 1. My husband used to say, he's suffering your singing because he can't speak back. It was not easy to bring up a child, especially when we were in a nuclear family, husband and wife, all on their own. But thanks to maids and babysitters, we managed. Thanks to my hard work and God's blessings, I soon got Best Employee Award in my entire account. I also won client appreciations from the director of that Fortune 100 organization. Soon, my son turned 1 year and 8 months old. It was an exciting time with him, learning 1 or 2 new words every week. Have you ever seen a toddler trying to speak? It is so cute, isn't it? I too was in raptures over his attempts to say, mama, better, better what it meant, bread, and wawa meant water. It worked too. Everything was hunky-dory. I was all set to get my next promotion, or so I thought. Until one day, my manager called me to his room. He said, Manjy, you are an amazing employee, You have one client appreciations. You're due for a promotion. Of course, I knew that. And now the client has requested you to travel to the United States of America immediately. We're going to process your visa. My mind started reeling. I never expected this. Hold on, now I wanted to go when my son turned 2.5 years. By then he would start preschool, etc. I'd already been to the US and I did not want to go then. So I told my manager, sir, can I go after a few months? My son would be around 2.5 years by then. Also, I can support the client from India itself by being on calls at night. I could go home and still take the late night calls. He said, no, Manju, we want you to travel now. Have you ever had to choose between two paths, both of which you loved? Were you ever forced to choose between two things that were equally dear to you? Well, it happened to me then. I came to a decision after doing a quick pros and cons analysis. My analysis actually perfectly agreed with my gut feeling. I told, no, I can't go now. My manager said, are you sure you're due for a promotion and you're saying a no? Do you know what this no can cost you? In my organization, like in many other places, even if you work 364 days perfectly, and if you rock the boat on the 365th day, you might lose your promotion. My manager said, Manju, don't take a rash decision. Go back home and discuss with your family. I knew what my family would say. My in-laws and parents were aged and they wouldn't be able to come with me. And I couldn't take my young son as the bank required us to work long hours. And in the US, the daycare center would be open only till 5 p.m. What would my baby do after that? And my husband had to go for higher studies, so he would be away as well. How would they manage? But my hubby darling said, Manjy, you can go, dear. I'll somehow manage. Probably I'll drop our son at one of our mother's places, somehow, put some maids and manage. But I knew things wouldn't be all right. A mother's gut feeling, right? I wanted the best thing possible for my mother, like your mother would have wanted for you. So the next day, I went back and told my manager, I'll work hard at the office, even take up late night calls. But sorry, no, I can't travel. To my surprise, my manager was livid with anger. He had taken my no in a very personal manner. He said, as if you are the only mother alive. And that year, I did not get promoted. It was as if my ship had been marooned in the middle of a deep, dark, and stormy ocean with angry waves. My ship's engines had failed and sails were not working because I was now stuck in the middle of doldrums. I was dejected, frustrated, and depressed, but I kept a brave face and worked harder than ever before to prove to them that I am a committed worker. At home, it was an exciting time, teaching my son new words, reading out to him new stories, and him learning to say those rhymes, Baba, black sheep, etc. 3 years passed, and I still did not get promoted. Do you know why? In between, we had slowdown, 2008, 9, 10. Nobody gave promotions in our organization. I still did not give up. I worked harder, and I also created a web page for knowledge management. And after 3 years, I was chosen as the knowledge management anchor and also got my promotion. Next time you have to say a no, think deeply before you say a no. I would say 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Manjy, for enlightening us in different facts. Yes, our second speaker for today is Toastmaster Marianna Burka. Of course, we know that she is the VP Education of our club and how she was active. She is active in pulling us and to the Toastmaster program and on how she contacts us. She will be evaluated by Toastmaster Hannah. I would like to invite Toastmaster Hannah to read the objective of Marianna's speech.
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster. Marianna is presenting a speech from Innovative Planning, Level 3, and the purpose. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The purpose of this speech is for the member to inspire the audience. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. Yes, Marianna, three women, Marianna. Oh.
When I was a teenager, I decided I am going to live 120 years. There was no scientific consideration. I just read a book about Moses, and he lived 120 years. So with the hubris of a teenager, I said, if he could do it, so can I. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. Now, almost 50 years later, I still believe I can. And now I have knowledge and science on my side. And most importantly, I have examples. Today in North America, 1 in every 5,000 person reaches the age of 100. And ladies, 85% of those centenarians are women. Of course, long life doesn't worth much unless it has a purpose, it has a joy. So what I am looking for is mindfulness in older age. Throughout the year, we are losing people. Every year, many people pass away. And today, I would like to mention 3 ladies who we lost as a society. These 3 fantastic ladies, interestingly, they were born within 5 years from each other, and they passed away 5 months from each other. And first of all, I would like to introduce you Hazel McCallion, Canadian politician. She was born in 1921, and she was a mayor of one of Canada's biggest city, Mississauga, for 36 years. I met her in 2003 in an event, which we didn't know if she will show up because she had an accident just a few days before that event. But she was there, and she was lightheartedly joking that, look at me, here I am, and the truck is still in the shop under repair because she was hit by a pickup truck. So her nickname was Hurricane Hazel, and that must tell something about her indestructibility. She retired at an age of 93 and stayed active even after that. Next lady I like to mention was born in 1925, London, England. Jessica Fletcher. She was an actress for 8 decades, but she only got her major role as a mystery writer at age 59. And she worked all the way through her life. And her last movie was released in 2022, the year she passed away. 8 decades. And the third lady, I heard her name from childhood, most of the time from the news. They said, the Queen, Elizabeth II. And we may agree or not agree on the needs of the monarchy, but we all know that she lived an extremely fulfilled life and reigned for 70 years, which is unprecedented in England history. 3 wonderful ladies, 3 eventful life, giving me hope that being mindful, freshness is not unachievable. And now the scientists caught up with my youthful hubris prediction. And now they say that every middle-aged person now can expect to live 120 years. And throughout my life, I collected some principles which I learned to live by, and I will share 3 of these with you. And these principles served me right and served my ideas right as well. And first of all, of course, a nutrition inside me, nutritionist, is paying attention to our body. And I'm not talking about standing in front of the mirror. I'm talking about the lifestyle we are leading will affect our mindfulness. The resting, the sleeping, the eating, what we are eating, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, exercise, moving. We have to move our body because all of this has an effect of our thinking ability. My second role is love. And when I'm talking about love, of course, we want to love others and we have to love others. But first and foremost, we have to love ourselves. One only can love others if fully able to love and accept themselves. And my third rule is learning and learning and learning. Because to keep your mind fresh, you always have to have new information coming in to process. And then we can have a long, mindful life. So I have one question. Who is going to celebrate with me on my 120th birthday? Please, you have to put everything in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. May 13, 2084. Marianna's birthday. You are all invited. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Marianna. So we will be there to celebrate your 120th birthday. Yes. So the third speaker for today is Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster Vivian Robinson. So Toastmaster Vivian, over to you to read the objective of Aswathy's project.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The project that Aswathy will deliver to us is from the presentation Mastery Path. The purpose of the speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice writing a speech with an emphasis on adding language to increase interest and impact. Fellow Toastmasters, her time is 5, no more than 7 minutes. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivian. Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan is the currently area director of District 120, and she's an entrepreneur, and she's a former scientist and a passionate educator. So Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan, the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling Toastmaster Aswathy Rajan.
To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe, said and told France. I too saw a dream and strongly believed in it. A dream that I could see with my eyes open. A dream that gave me a purpose for my life. A dream to become a scientist. My passion and hard work got me a fellowship for 5 years by Government of India to do my MPhil and PhD. And for a girl coming from a middle-class family, that was a dream come true moment. And my parents, who have never gone to college, that was a moment of elation and emotions. I successfully completed my PhD, and in a few years, I was selected for the only seat in zoology to do my postdoctorate under a special scheme, again by Government of India. I was on cloud 9. I was about to make my dream a reality. With lots of excitement and expectations in my eyes, I stepped into my dream world, a renowned university where I was the principal investigator for my own dream project. Within a short period of time, I was able to publish many research papers, presented my research in conferences, workshops, and received many accolades. But as they say, the road to success is never so smooth. Soon, I could sense a kind of non-cooperation from the professors. My lab mates turned indifferent towards me. According to them, research is not meant for girls, and I was just wasting my time and seizing their opportunities. Because being a woman, I have to leave all those for my family one day. Despite all my hard work and dedication, I was being judged because of the stereotypical mindset of those people. It took me back to my college days when I could not become the president of student council only because a few people thought that women are not competent enough for that role. And history repeated once again. I wasted my precious 6 months just looking at the computer screen without doing any work in my lab because I was denied to use the lab facilities. They even shifted my cabin to an old room with no furniture at all, where they used to dump their old and broken lab equipments. I was enclosed under a glass ceiling from where I could not see my dreams anymore. I could see denial, disapproval, and dismissal. I felt like that bird whose wings were clipped. I even thought of quitting. After a few months, we got a new head of the department, and I got a new hope. She was the first female head of the department in that subject. In a few days, I understood that she is no different than me. The other professors were not cordial or supportive for her. Like a lone warrior, she was fighting her own battle. One day when I got the opportunity to share my experiences with her, After listening, she laughed and said, I know. How are you feeling? I can see myself in you. My journey was not so easy. At every step, I was pulled backward and crushed, not to stand again. But I fought for my dreams. Today, if I'm sitting on this chair in a place that is dominated by people with a biased mindset, then that's only because I believed in myself. And those words were like an energy booster for me. I decided to follow my dreams and fight for them. I restarted my work by setting up my own little lab in that old room. And I completed my work. I presented my papers on various national and international platforms and also achieved the prestigious Young Scientist Award. I also got the opportunity to present my work in the International Congress for Tropical Medicine and Malaria in Brisbane. Not only that, she also recognized my abilities and gave me teaching opportunities for the postgraduate and MPhil students. I regained my lost confidence and was able to walk with my head high in front of those who closed all the doors for me only because I was a woman. Friends, today when I look back, I do regret not speaking out. But that experience has made me a better, bolder, and brighter person only because I started believing in myself. I have realized only you can fight for what you believe in and make your dreams a reality. The world may judge you or stop you to achieve your dreams because of biases, discriminations, or stereotypes. But it's only you who has the power to break that glass ceiling. Today, I am an edupreneur who helps young minds to become better humans and not just better boys or girls. I am doing my part to create a world where individual differences are valued and celebrated. So friends, let's together break the glass ceiling which still exists in our society. Are you all with me? Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aswathy. What an inspirational, what an emotional speech. Yes, our next speaker for today is Toastmaster Nikhita Winkler, and she will be evaluated by Toastmaster Angela Brown. Toastmaster Angela, over to you to read the purpose of Nikhita's project.
The purpose of the speech is to learn to review basic methods for writing speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized and well-written speech. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, Nikhita Winkler comes from a kingdom of freedom fighters, single mothers, and women in leadership. She draws strength from the generation before her, the women working beside her, and leads with mindful steps to uplift and model the way for the girl child who is looking at her. Toastmaster Nikhita Winkler, Spaces of Liberations. Spaces of Liberations, Nikhita Winkler.
Thank you very much. I grew up in a world where women are allowed to vote and run for office. A world where women can go to university, they can have a career and raise a family. I grew up in a world where I could read about the achievements of other women. A world where I could witness my own sisters infiltrate the internet, cyberspace, technology, engineering, law and politics, corporate industries. I grew up in a world where the women who raised me got married and divorced because they were in abusive relationships. A world where those women afforded the seat at the table, surrounded as the only woman in a crowd by a crowd of men. I grew up a relatively free woman, but this was made possible for me because of the women who fought for my rights, for our rights. The thing is that now I can dream, I can achieve, be recognized. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the story of a single woman. That is the story of a single woman. Because out there are so many other women who haven't even tasted the freedom that I have. We are still fighting sexism, violence, rape, child brides, female genital mutilation, passion or honor killings. In Afghanistan, girls cannot go to high school. They cannot have the jobs that they want, and they cannot even participate in politics. In the US, women's right to abortion was taken from them overnight. They cannot even make choices, deeply personal choices in their own private lives. In Namibia, where I come from, women, when they get married, lose their family name and they adopt the family name of the men that they married. In countries like Nepal and Saudi Arabia, women cannot confer citizenship onto their children. They are being treated like second-class citizens. So I ask myself, as a free woman, how can I use my freedom and my experiences to step into the spaces where I am needed? Because the issues that women face is so broad that each and every one of you are needed to take your freedom, your liberation, your power, and to step into the spaces that are calling you and to liberate other women who need liberation in those spaces. I have been working intimately with women since 2017. I use dance as a way to uplift women and girl children whom I work with. I create safe environments in which they can explore, deeply explore themselves and discover within them the spaces that need to still be liberated. I teach women and girls how to stand tall, root themselves as trees while moving and floating and rising like feathers and fairies. I teach women how to walk as if they are wearing a crown on their head. I lift up their chin, look them in the eyes and say, "Wow, you are beautiful. Look at me. Let me see you. I want to appreciate you." I teach women how to dance like they are young, wild, and free without losing the respect for themselves. I do that by creating a space with mood lights and candle lights, sometimes wine. And I let them dance with their shadows so that they can move and transport themselves into a world that is so difficult in this life to move into. And I affirm every single girl and every single woman who walks into my space, into my dance studio. I say to them, to myself, I am as full, as whole, as complete as the full moon. I am as intricate, as sacred as the divine design of a flower. I am as deep as the ocean. And then I lead them into a circle where we affirm ourselves and each other. And you know what happens when the voices of women rise together? Woo! Something shifts. Immediately, the space changes. The way women see themselves and identify with themselves changes. The way women receive other women changes. And I feel in that moment something pouring into my cells, like electrical waves moving through me into my roots. And I know that the work that I am doing is impactful, because I'm sharing that energy, that power, that transformation with the women in my space. I teach women how to fall in love with themselves again, how to touch, 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 get in touch with themselves. The skin, ladies and gentlemen, the skin is the biggest organ of sensory perception. It takes everything from our external world, all that information, into every part of our body, through the nerves of our nervous system. Touch. With touch, you can heal the centuries of oppression that you've suffered. With touch, you can deeply reconnect to yourself. There are so many millions of women who now have stepped into spaces that we were never allowed into. But there are even more women who are too afraid to step into the space within themselves, where I believe that is where true liberation happens. Because inside of us, there is still a lot of oppression, open wounds, bleeding. And so I leave you with this today. As you liberate yourself, you will liberate everyone who comes into your space. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhita, for a very insightful speech. So for our next speaker is Toastmaster Mari. She will be evaluated by Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola. Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, over to you to read the purpose of Mari's speech.
Thank you. Oops.
Yes,
All right.
Fabiola, you
Yes.
can read the objective. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't find the unmute button, but I'm unmuted already. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. Today, I have the privilege of evaluating the Dynamic Leadership Project number 2 of Level 1, Writing a Speech with Purpose. And today, I'm also looking at the impact that the speech that our presenter will be giving, and later on, I will be giving her my evaluation. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Fabiola. So Mari is a Toastmaster since 2016, and she is of Swiss-French nationality. And she had taken various club officer executive role in different committees and the leadership and area levels. She is currently a dual member in 2 advanced clubs in Canada, virtually, and Toastmaster Mari. How to rebound? How to rebound, Toastmaster Mari?
Hey, do you want to make money? A lot of money? What about child trafficking? Did I shock some of you? And why only some, by the way? Don't worry. I'm talking about something I know. Since as a child, I was abducted, sold, and then adopted. That's how I'm going to talk to you about 3 women who have marked my life and who went from victim to survivor when faced with the little choice left to them. My biological mother, my adoptive mother, and finally, me. The first, hard choice. Once upon a time, on the border of a post-war country somewhere, a poor woman had to live with the responsibility of 2 small children. My brother, 4 years old, and me, 2 years old. She was all alone, without resources, begging with them on the street. Fortunately, a state orphanage offered daycare for her children, which meant to give them food and even a little education. What a relief for my mother to be able to leave her children in their care while she was struggling to survive during the day. Every evening, she would find her children at the orphanage. Suddenly, the ritual came to an end, and the orphanage told her that her children were going to be adopted by a family in Europe. My mother was restlessly thrown out, and her screams and cries echoed in the streets to enter a little boy's ears forever, 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 forever. Faced with this fatality, my mother, poor and on her own, with little choice left, told her son, my brother, to stay with me instead of living with her. She would prefer the sacrifice of losing her 2 children to make sure that they would have a better chance to survive. That's how she rebounded, passing the baton to another woman somewhere on the other side of the world, one who will become my second mother in Europe. The second, one choice. Once upon a time, in a French town, a woman who yearned for a big family learned that she couldn't have more than her 2 children. Faced with this terrible blow, she decided to find another way to fulfill her dream of having a large family. She and her husband decided to adopt a boy. But siblings cannot be separated. Bang! My adoptive mother received as gift 2 children. Bang! New first name for me and my brother. Bang for us with a new life, new language. And after a solid education, she trained them for life as her own children. Thus, she averted her fate. Faced with the injustice of life, my adoptive mother, who couldn't no longer give birth herself, had only one choice left. She raised her 2 children and added 2 others by adoption. That's how she chose to rebound, taking the baton from the mother on the other side of the world, and then passing the baton to me, who is now before you. My choice. My name is Marie, and throughout my life, I have known my adoption story from the beginning. Even if my birth story and my birth mother was unclear for me. My brother will tell me his own story that I didn't want to believe. To me, I was abandoned. At the age of 30, I even went back to Bangladesh and, helped by the journalist from the Bangladeshi national TV, I took the steps to reconstruct my story. And nothing happened. But years later, 6 months ago, in fact, I've got news. My brother's story was right. Indeed, we were abducted. Indeed, we were sold and adopted. I was a victim. Faced with this reality, I chose not only to survive, but to live with passion and through my patience. Because patience is what add life to the years. And how do I rebound? Whatever the form of the destiny you will face, you can always become the victim of your own story. Whether it is through a sacrifice, to word of faith, or to rebuild oneself, it's done with the little choices you have left that you will find a way to survive, to become a survivor. But surviving is not enough. So get passionate about it, because it's important to live the patience that add life to the years, not just to survive, to live. Together, no matter your gender. Next to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Mari. Thank you very much for a very, very emotional touch of your speech. Last speaker for today is Toastmaster Vivian Little. She will be evaluated by Toastmaster Rivka. Toastmaster Rivka, can you please read the purpose of Vivian Little's speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Hello, everyone. So Toastmaster Vivian Little will be presenting her Level 3 Project 5, Connect with Storytelling in her Presentation Mastery Pathway. The purpose of the speech is for the member to practice using a story within her speech or giving a speech that is a story. All the best, Toastmaster Vivian, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rivka. Toastmaster Vivian Little. She turned 70 years old this year, and her intention is to be built a speaking career as a motivational speaker to encourage women and help them to move forward. As she has done for over 40 years in the fitness and nutrition field, ladies' age is just a number. There is nothing that we can't do when we put our minds together. Women are unstoppable. Toastmaster Vivian Little, overcome. Overcome, Toastmaster Vivian Little.
Think back to your childhood. What's the one thing your mother knew about you that no one else did? You see, no one knows you like your mother. My mother used to say, if you can get my Vivian to do something she doesn't want to do, call me. I want to see it. Honorable Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, online guests. I was in grade 1, attending Memorial School. I got up as always, dressed myself, white blouse, dark pleated skirt, white bobby socks. This is how my mama sent me to school every day. Slipped on my lace-up shoes, which were never completely laced up, because for the life of me, I couldn't tie a bow. It wasn't from lack of trying. My Uncle Don, who spent countless hours trying to teach me to make bunny ears. I couldn't figure out why I needed bunny ears when I could just shove my laces into the top of my shoe, which is what I did. Off I went, smile on my face, just another day. Do some schoolwork, get in a bit of trouble, notes sent home to Ma, just another day. Until it wasn't. This day would leave me shaken, breathless, and traumatized. Halfway through the day, I had lost interest. I was daydreaming, looking out the window, when I heard the teacher call my name. I hadn't done anything wrong, not that I could remember. I stood, anticipating a problem. Vivian, your big sister Karen is here for you. Oh, I thought, going home early. I met my sister at the door. She smiled. You know that smile that older siblings have when they know something you don't? She took my hand. We walked. She was silent. Something was wrong. As we reached the top of the stairs, where you could see down into the hallway, she leaned over and whispered, "Wit." Wit is what my family calls me. "They're going to give you a needle." I don't want a needle. "It's huge," she said. "I've never seen a needle so big. It must really hurt." All the kids are crying. As we stepped off the bottom stair, my sister's grip became tighter. I think she knew what was going to happen. I could see rows of children lined up, facing nurses in stiff little hats, white dresses, white stockings, and tightly laced up shoes. The last thing I remember was my sweaty little palm slipping from my sister's hand. I could see the heavy doors just ahead. If I could just get to them before one of the nurses could grab me and attack with her giant needle. Suddenly, I felt the weight of the doors beneath my palms. I pushed down on the heavy metal bars that kept them locked. They opened. I felt the sun on my face, the earth beneath my feet, and I ran. I ran for what I believed was my life. I ran all the way home to my granddaddy's house, 5 blocks away, where I lived with my mama. As I rounded the last corner, I ran smack dab into Mom. I didn't know what to expect. My mother assumed her children would behave. But then again, this was her Vivian. She looked down at me. She got the phone call. She shook her head. She smiled. She reached her hand out to mine. Her warmth allowed my fears to fade. She understood. We turned toward home. I sat in my granddaddy's kitchen. My mama poured me a glass of cherry Kool-Aid, turning her back, pretending to do dishes so I couldn't see her laugh. Yes, needles, my childhood fear. And still to this day, I stiffen when I see one coming. Several years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, a disease, I'm sure, that has touched almost everyone, if not everyone here today. A friend of mine who had already faced this enemy told me, "You better overcome your fear of needles. There will be so many, you lose count." She was right. It was endless. I often thought back to that day when I ran for what I believed was my life, when I thought a needle was the most horrific thing that could happen to me. Little did I know what life would offer up. There is a movie called The Golden Compass. And in the movie, the little girl asks the armored bear as he prepares for battle, "Are you afraid?" "No," he replies. "And when I am, I will master my fear." Have I mastered my fear of needles? Nope. I am not. But I have overcome enough to survive. I realize that fear is an emotion. It's a situation. It can turn into sorrow, grief, anger, even rage. But we can overcome through love, patience, courage, and understanding. My cancer is active again after 5 years. And as you can imagine, I have a great many sorrows tugging at my soul. But if my mama were standing here today, she would tell you, if there's a rule to break, my Vivian will break it. I am breaking all the rules, my friends. I will overcome grief and sorrow. I can overcome anger and rage. I must overcome fear. I will go to that calm place in my mind, to my granddaddy's kitchen, to my mama's warmth and laughter, and to the taste of sweet cherry Kool-Aid. Have you ever been so frightened? If you are, please go to that person. Go to that place that brings you warmth and laughter. Go to that calmness and allow yourself the opportunity to overcome. Honorable Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Vivian Little, for your very, very energetic speech. What a motivational speech. Yes, now we have come to the end of the speech slots. Now I would like to invite the Sergeant at Arms to list the poll to select the best speaker for today. Yes, poll is in the screen, so you can select the best speaker. And the timer had posted the timer reports in the chat. Sergeant at Arms, can you tell me it when you close the poll? Yes, you can see in the screen, the best speaker for today is Vivian Little, overcome. Vivian Little, overcome. Yes, now it's time for the evaluation. Very, very interesting session. And today the general evaluator is Sandra Watts. With her compassionate straight talk as a leader, Sandra challenges people. She says, I breathe, therefore I challenge. Aha. We are getting to know her through her active participation, which is her way of leading. Help me welcome Sandra as our general evaluator. You are on mute, Sandra.
There we go. Sorry about that. It's kind of hidden behind my camera's thing. Anyhow, it's such a treat to be part of this amazing, amazing, amazing meeting. Thank you, Noorul, for putting it together and having the women celebrated. I mean, I was watching the chat and everybody's just blown away. My job today is just to get the evaluations rolling through and then give a general wrap up of how the meeting went. So I am going to start first with Barbara Jarvis, who is going to be evaluating Manjy. Barbara is new to our club and a born Antiguan who loves serving the Lord and is very thankful for life, inspired, strong, bold, courageous, and very passionate about community service. And she says that evaluating has broadened her ability to listen keenly, which is the gift, isn't it, to the speaker and give her feedback, bringing her out of the comfort zone, but also helping the speaker to improve. Barbara Jarvis.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. I enjoyed Toastmaster Bankuma for the speech about her baby, the love of a baby, how it was difficult for her to choose between her right eye and her left eye. We had some problems with her manager at work where he didn't find her very productive. And because of this, she wasn't given a promotion, even though she had given all her time and dedication to her work and her family. But thankfully, after 3 years, that she said that she had gotten her promotion. Her clarity, she had spoken clear language, was easily understood. Her vocal variety, languages, use of her tone and her speed and volume was to perfection. She has some good eye contact to engage with the audience. Her comfort level appeared fully at ease. Her gestures used as a tool was to enhance her speech. What I liked about her speech is how determined she was to succeed. And when she looked at the side at one point as if she was speaking to someone. And that felt that it was engaging with her storytelling. What I would have liked to see, though, is that she have a picture, whether a fictional picture or a real picture of a beautiful baby to show why she had this struggle between her work and the love of her baby, just to have that division or that collaboration where she gave both time, her equal time with dedication. It was a great job overall, and I commend her for her wonderful speech. And that ends my report. Back over to Madam Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I had a little, I get to evaluate the evaluators, and I know we're crunched on time, so I'll keep it brief. Remember, evaluators, we are all 1 to 2 minutes, so 1, 1.5, and 2. And Barbara, you were right in there on time. I heard you giving praise, some fixes, and some why I wanted to hear some more. That's what I listened for. I did have a little trouble with your sound, so you may need to work on your sound because I had a challenge. Thank you. Our next evaluator is Hannah Schmidt, and she is evaluating Marianna Burka. Now, Hannah is a Toastmaster of 12 years on her back and still enjoys being one. We can't go away. After 2020, she became a Zoom hopper and visited many Toastmaster clubs around the globe and has found her niche within leadership speak. She still likes to be a leader wherever possible, and serving as evaluator is the opportunity to provide objective verbal and written evaluations. And therefore, she loves doing evaluation. You've got 2 minutes, Hannah.
Yeah. Madam General Evaluator, Toastmasters and Marianna. What a fitting title for today's meeting. 3 women, although there are 100 other women, but 3 women. I observed how passionately, energetically you spoke about the 3 women nearly reaching the age of 100 years and to inspire you. And you introduced them to us today. You opened the speech about the 3 ladies, Hazel, Jessica, and the Queen, who made an impression on you with their leadership. And you let us know why they made that impact on you, specializing on each one's impact on you and the world. And your slides were very effective and to the point. I would have appreciated some more vocal variety with some more pace, pitch, and pauses to convey some more emotion and impression on your speech, especially how those ladies impacted on you. Hand gestures can convey emotions to a speech and complement it. Here I observed your right hand more than your left hand. Ending with the 3 principles, paying attention to your body, love, and learning. You had a good call to action. And you inspired us to reach the age of 100 years. If Moses can do it, we also can. And thank you for the invitation to your 100th birthday. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. I love hearing how wonderful everybody is in this club. Thank you. Vivian Robinson will be evaluating Aswathy Rajan. Leadership Speak has provided opportunities to give honest, open, and supportive evaluations. Sorry, I forgot to evaluate Anna. I'm just rushing right ahead. There she's waiting for me.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just back that up for 2 seconds. Hannah, your evaluation to me was very positive, uplifting, and had some lovely little bits in there. And you finished before your 2 minutes. So it was concise and bang on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hannah. Now we're over to Vivian.
Okay.
Leadership Speak has provided Vivian so many honest opportunities to give honest, open, and supportive evaluations. The acceptance and implementation of the evaluation by the members. See, that's critical. The members are willing to receive the evaluations, and that has provided a platform for Vivian to become a more powerful leader. Vivian.
Thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and to Dr. Aswathy. Thank you so much for a very powerful and timely speech, because we all have experienced that glass ceiling. As you open your speech, the title gave us a lead-in as to what you were going to share with us. It was interactive, it was engaging. I compliment you, as always, on that beautiful smile. It lights your entire face as you deliver to us, and we thank you for sharing that point of joy and uplifting with us. Your hand gestures were good. We were able to see your hand gestures as you shared those with us. I'd like to offer, as you're telling us about some of your experiences, share a brief story. I went into the lab only to find the door locked and the professor standing with his arms folded saying, "You don't belong here." I think that would have added a little more impact to what you were sharing with us, because many of us have experienced having to arrive at a work location and to be told that this is not an arena for women, or you can't occupy this area. And I think just a short line or two about some of the experiences that you had would have helped to empower the speech that you were giving to us. Lastly, I'd like to draw your attention to this. When you've delivered to us such a powerful and insightful speech, don't thank us. Allow us to thank you for sharing your experience, your expertise with us. As you move forward, I encourage you, as you use your call to action that was right on time, then once you give us that call to action, then allow us to thank you. And I do just that for such a powerful and wonderful and timely speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
I'm just going through the wow stages because, Vivian, that was a powerful and brief evaluation. And I think this is where we're really learning that we get to our job, get to the job, make sure we know what they did well. We don't need to regurgitate the speech. And I'm saying every one of these evaluators so far is not regurgitating the speech. They're getting to what they like, what to try and improve, and why we want to hear you more. It keeps it simple. Thank you, Vivian. Angela Brown comes up next to evaluate Nikhita Winkler. Women in leadership affect my life every day, she says, especially since she's been the president of the Scarborough Twilight Rotary Club for almost 2 years, and that's a big job. When there are hard decisions to be made, I don't shy away, she says, because it helps me and everyone to grow. Giving members of my team constructive feedback on certain issues, I intend to give constructive and positive feedback today also to Aswathy as her speech evaluator. Angela.
Thank you. Nikhita, I thought you did a really great speech. I liked the background. It's related to your speech. You had good vocal variety, great facial expressions. I liked when you put your face to the camera, closer to that was really good. Your speech was passionate, showed how passionate you are about the topic, and you seemed comfortable. You used your hand on your stomach and your heart. That was really, really the word. Shows your passion again about the speech, and the title relates to your speech, the space of liberation, because you're talking about women liberating themselves from imprisonment, not just imprisonment like slavery or oppression, but also the imprisonment within themselves. I really one thing I wanted to say that you can change is that you don't say thank you at the end of the speech, because like what Benerjee said, the audience should be thankful for you, that you dare to come and speak publicly to us in a public forum, so we can learn from you. So we are thankful for you, and so therefore don't say thank you at the end of your speech.
Thank you, Angela. I see you've got a grin on Nikhita's face, so you hit home. I really liked the way that you were able to just get right into the work of the evaluation, but I also liked how you read in between the lines that the imprisonment was not about the actual facts of today, but also imprisoning ourselves inside. So you came out with some beautiful compliments, and no need for a thank you. Thank you very much. All righty, our next speaker was Marie, and Fabiola Cleotha is evaluating Marie. And as a leader, Fabiola says she's developed analytical and motivational skills while sharpening her evaluation skills. And these have been powerful in her communication in the upbringing of her teenage son. Now we can all relate to that, how wonderful it is to have Toastmaster skills transferred to our life. Fabiola, if you could evaluate Marie, please.
Thank you so much. Indeed, the most beautiful flowers grow on a pile of manure. That was the message that our speaker, Marie, wanted to transform into the speech that she put together by writing a purposeful speech to us. And the presentation of it was wonderful. It was an impacting story. You impacted us from the start with a startling question, like, are we going into selling to get some money? No. But throughout your speech, you gave us stories of 3 women that were full of heavy facts, but it was brought in a very positive manner. And what I liked about this, that the rebounding of each of the stories that you brought to us came through. And that is the message that you wanted us to convey. Very positive, light, but something that took us to think about this heavy stuff. Now you have a very heavy accent, probably mine too. And what I liked was that you made some effort to speak clearly, with clarity, so I could follow. But those aspects where the accent was a little bit foreign, that would have helped if you maybe had some background visuals to accompany that, so it make it clear. Also, you made a great effort to have your Black background that helped you not to disappear. But still, the most important one, which was the baton, was going back and forth. So taking into consideration those aspects that I brought forward, I loved your story. That was very impactful. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Fabiola. I love how calm you are. You're stating what your evaluation is. It's clear and it's supportive. So thank you for that. And Marie is going to be back even stronger because of you. Thank you. Our final evaluator today is Fatima Rifka, evaluating Vivienne Little. Having grown up in a conservative society, looking up to women who were incredible leaders, breaking barriers to pursue their passions has always been her biggest inspiration. So hoping to create more equitable and inclusive world where women have the same opportunities to lead and succeed as men. How perfect is that as an introduction today into this amazing program. Evaluation and feedback has been a key reason for improving your leadership skill, you say, and every time you complete a project with the commendations and feedback, they've helped to make a better you, and that's what you're bringing today to Vivienne Little. Fatima?
Storytelling is such a powerful tool that can be used to educate, to inspire, and to entertain, and most importantly, connect people. And Toastmaster Vivienne, your story today is a testament to the human spirit that you've shown us. With determination, courage, and faith, anything is possible. And I don't think I'll do justice if I deliver a speech, evaluation seated, because you deserve a standing ovation for that wonderful speech. And come on, you're a warrior yourself. So first of all, let me tell you what are the things that I really loved about your speech. Number one, the project objective was achieved. How you wonderfully connected your own story within the speech and delivered such a powerful message to all of us to overcome our fears. From being shaken, breathless, and traumatized, today I see you as a 70-year-old, powerful, confident, courageous woman and a public speaker champion to be. The only recommendation I have for you is, because you were so good with your body language and vocal variety, a little bit use of more characters in your speech. And that way you can use your stage more wisely with characters and changing your tone and body language. We would have added a little more drama to your speech. But overall, in summation, excellent speech content with a lovely message for all of us to take away, wonderful body language usage, and amazing vocal variety. Maybe you don't know how to tie a bow, Toastmaster Vivienne, but I'm sure you can win in that World Champion stage very soon. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Wow. Fatima, I love the energy that you bring to it, because even through Zoom, our energy can flow, and that's what you brought. There's only up for speakers that get your evaluation. Thank you so much. That brings us to my last few minutes here. Timer, I have apparently 3 minutes to wind up my evaluation of the meeting in general. And I get to start first off with the Toastmaster of the day, Noorul. You did a lot of work behind the scenes. A meeting like this does not happen without getting behind, organizing it well in advance. I think I was asked to participate 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and I said, put me where you want to, but that's the whole thing. It has to be organized. And you were claiming this idea. Let's bring the women forward. So thank you so much for that. We can do anything and we can raise each other up. And thank you to the men who support us. And that came very clear. You also asked for quite a bit of other detail, and I'm going to leave that so that at your request, we can meet later on and go through the details of the Toastmaster of the Day task. Rozy, I want to speak to you. I know you didn't get an evaluation, but that was an amazing 20 minutes of amazing research, insights, and polished, authentic delivery. I loved that you had your own natural approach today, and it touched all of us deeply. The toast by Chrysanthi Emmanuel, wonderful message, beautifully scripted, and yay for you. Thank you. Timer, Joni Laidlaw, artificial intelligence. I see we're getting to know each other even behind the Toastmaster scene, and we need to connect. That's what the magic is of coming together, and great enthusiasm and great energy. Thank you. And wow to our guest video speakers, that was a real treat. And thank you for that. With that, I am going to hand the meeting back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Noorul, to wind us up. Oh, yes, sorry, we have to have the best effort evaluator. Could everyone please take a moment very quickly and give us who gave the best evaluation? I expect the results will come in 2 seconds. There's in the chat, you'll find the timers report as well. That will help everyone. Here's our evaluators. The 6th evaluator, Fatima. Congratulations. Wow, 59%. But I must say, I was just thrilled with everyone's evaluations, the crispness, I can't talk now. It was beautiful. Thank you so much for an amazing, amazing, amazing meeting. Noorul.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you very much. I know that for last 3 weeks, we were discussing and we were passing the chats and individually and collectively in a common group. So it was a wonderful meeting. Of course, we would not have made it without the energetic comments by our President Bram and Asif side, and also I was supported by Nuskia too. And what a wonderful meeting. We had motivational speech, we had inspirational speech, we have powerful speech, what a toast. Wow, what a wonderful meeting. And finally, Sandra's energetic general evaluation. Thank you, Sandra. And thank you very much. We have 2 minutes more to complete the finish the meeting. So we'll have 1 or 2 comments, then I can pass, we can complete the meeting, then we can have the discussion later. Yes, I just wanted to ask Nina, can you give your feedback?
Yes, I think it was an absolute feast. When you go to a 5-star restaurant and there's a buffet spread in front of you, and it's so difficult to choose. Were the starters better? Were the main courses better? Were the desserts better? The superb session by Rozy, the absolutely wonderful messages from IPP Margaret Page and Lark Dolly, the fantastic speeches, and I don't know, I think even more fantastic evaluations. I think it was a huge learning curve for every one of us. Fabulous, intercultural, international, truly Toastmaster meeting that I have attended in a very long time. I think as women, let's pat ourselves on our back and say, we did a great job and we can do better. Come on, girls. Thank you. And over to you, Noorul.
Thank you, Nina. And I just want to ask Krishanti, because she is the charter president of the Advanced Toastmasters Club. Krishanti, can you make a comment?
Thank you, Toastmaster Noorul. I would like to start by thanking you for the invitation to be at this meeting. As Nina has said, I thought it was an amazing mix of things. I love the different variety in the speeches. I like the different perspectives of the evaluators. I enjoyed the element you brought in of those 2 recorded speeches. I thought it was a great day for women altogether, taken all together. And thank you to everyone who presented, who evaluated, who spoke. It was an amazing meeting and truly unforgettable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DTM Krishanti. I think we are sharp on time. So I'm ending the meeting and hand over the control to our President Bram of the meeting. We can continue with the comments from the other visitors. Over to you, Bram.